Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Get Geek podcast, where we celebrate geek, nerd, and pop culture. Each week, we deliver the best analysis for fans, by fans, on anything related to movies, TV, video games, comics, anime, and manga. We talk geek. And now, here's the Get Geek podcast.
And welcome to the Get Geek podcast. My name is Wolfie, and I am joined by Walt, Jose, and AJ. Guys, say what's up.
What's down?
What's sideways?
Oh, you guys can sound more awake than that. What's left? Maybe a little bit more morning energy.
Hey!
Trying.
We trying.
Hey, man, it's been a while since we've gotten all together. I certainly haven't been able to record lately, but I'm super stoked and excited to come and join the conversation today. But please don't forget to like, rate, share, and subscribe. Show us that love. Show us, give us all the help that we can get to grow the podcast that we got going on over here. So we got an awesome show for you guys today. As all we're going to do is just catch up, chit chat, and let's go. Guys, what's up?
Let's do this. I think this is my first cast. Is this my first cast from Atlanta? No, this is my second cast from Atlanta, I think.
Second
I think the first one that I've been a part of.
Yeah.
So long. It's the first one that you've been a part of since I moved out here. So yeah, y'all. Get Geek. One of the Get Geek crew left Brooklyn and came out to Atlanta. So I'm recording. I'm actually not in Atlanta right now though, so that's a lie. I'm just so lost. Basically, I'm in North Carolina at the moment because we're going on vacation.
Lies.
But I moved to Atlanta.
Deceptions.
Yeah, man. We're going to the beach. A long-awaited, long-needed vacation. So I'm getting ready to get on the road for a little bit after this. What's up with everybody else, y'all? How y'all been? How's the Sunday going? Anybody got any cool plans today for the week?
I'm just watching just football today, so
exciting.
I'm trying to stay home finally one day, so I can just relax.
Yeah, that's the most upsetting thing about having moved down here. I can't really watch New York sports. It's like freaking impossible to watch Jets games. It's probably going to be freaking impossible to watch Knicks games, and Yankee games are hard enough to watch as well. I mean, Yankee games I can watch with MLB TV, but like
I think that you may be able to get around that.
Don't work.
You may be able to get around that if you get a VPN and point it to New York.
Yeah, that's true.
It'll be worth a subscription. Like now you can get like cheap VPN, something like $5 a month.
Yeah, I get like Surfshark or something like that. This is not a sponsorship for Surfshark, but like I've seen it a lot on a lot of YouTube videos that I watch for like other nerdy stuff. So
that's the only thing I gotta say that I'm not really keen on with like this transition between cable TV and streaming services is like the restriction levels of like streaming and stuff. Like, I mean, I should be able to watch every single Yankee game, bar none, in New York. But like Friday nights on the MLB app, they won't show the Yankee game, depending on who they're playing. That's if I pay for the MLB app, I should be able to watch every single game, no matter what.
Those blackout rules are just like plain stupid, to be honest. You know what I'm saying?
I think technically, now that I think of it, the only one that will probably be better will be Knicks games, because I actually couldn't watch those most of the time in New York because I had a NBA TV, the subscription, and like those would be blacked out because they're like, oh, you can watch this in your local market. So like, you don't need to watch it here. Like, just go watch it on TV. And it's like, well, I don't have cable. The whole reason I got this is because I don't have cable. So like, I'll probably get to watch Knicks games, but I already know, like, I tried to watch the Jets this past Sunday. They were playing, the Ravens, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't watch that game, unfortunately. Not that it was a good game, but I mean, well, it was decent. It is what it is. This is not our sports podcast, but like, yeah, the Jets are probably going to stink this year. I'm going to Minneapolis actually in December to watch them play the Vikings.
Okay.
So we're waiting to get
Well,
those
that's
tickets
cool.
because we figure they're probably going to tank, and those ticket prices will go down further. You know what I mean? Vikings might be
Yeah.
good though, but yeah, man, like it's been interesting on the move down here. Y'all been watching anything fun lately? Playing anything fun lately? Looking forward to anything fun?
I'm looking forward to Street Fighter 6. I don't know if you guys have been keeping up on any of the news that's come out, but they've like done the, pretty much the full reveal now. Well, maybe
Hmm.
not the full reveal, but they've dropped a lot of stuff going out this past week, and man, I am so excited because
I saw the
fighting
character
games,
roster. Hmm.
it's not even just a character roster. This feels like an actual video game, like not just a fighting game, a video game where it has like an open world
Yep.
uh, component to it.
And you can create your own characters also.
Right. So actually, so you need to
It's
create your
like
own character for the open world component.
it's like the Dragon
Um,
Ball Z game, right?
Kakarot.
Not Kakarot. The other one. Well,
no.
Kakarot's like that also, right? But doesn't have
The other one.
Xenoverse have open world elements as well and created characters?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Right. But
You got Tekken 8
but it's
too,
like
but-
you're still playing. It's open world, but you're playing those games. If I'm not mistaken, you're still playing like the Dragon Ball Z storylines, where this one
Yeah.
you sort of create your own storyline in a sense, and you have to go fight these masters in order to like gain new abilities and moves. Basically, all the Street Fighter characters, from what it seems like, all the Street Fighter characters become like your senseis, basically. So like you got to travel to Hong Kong to fight Chun Li, to seek her out, do missions, and then beat her to gain like an ability. And through that, you get exposure to her storyline and more of the general overall storyline. But um, it seems really cool that they're doing that, and it also seems like they're actually putting time and investment in the characters storyline finally again, which I feel like has been super lacking because. One of the things about fighting games is that like fighting games are very, very difficult unless you are really into fighting games. And to get, I think, the layman or the casual person into fighting games, you need a good storyline to get someone emotionally invested in the characters and the brand and all that.
It
Otherwise,
helps.
somebody that's brand new jumps into buy Street Fighter 6 and then they're getting whooped by guys that have been playing Street Fighter for 30 years and they're just like the curve is too deep, too steep, for them to learn the fighting game culture and the mechanics and so on and so forth. So
Yeah, you have to enjoy the single player component and like dig deep into it before you can get online and like start kicking butt against like some really seasoned online Street Fighter players. Some like us. I'm not a good Street Fighter player, but we've been around, since Street Fighter 2 came out. Like we grew up with Street Fighter 2, right? So
yeah,
we would be more seasoned than your average player. That story mode though kind of reminds me of one of my favorite story modes in fighting games, which is they're not always very well executed, but like the Soul Calibur games had like that kind of like
Hey.
questing mode. Remember, it was very similar. You would fight different characters. You'd fight the different characters, and like you would gain strength for your character, and then like they would create like a totally different storyline from the single player. But it was kind of like built around in the same vein that you're talking about with Street Fighter. Like it was built around like creating a new story with
yeah.
those.
I do sort of remember
characters.
that.
It wasn't a created character though. Yeah, you remember that, right?
But it's
Right,
just
AJ?
Well, the create a character doesn't typically find its way into the story mode.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, that's totally weird. I'm, you know what? I played Street Fighter before. I'm not exactly a guy that says that I played all the Street Fighters, and I'm looking at this lineup here. So it looks like you're gonna get all the 8 core fighters from Street Fighter 2, right? But then
Yes, so
you're getting some other players, which some other characters, which honestly, I had no idea that were there. Like guys like Jamie, JP,
Yeah,
Kimberly, Lily, Manon, Marissa. I mean,
Those are
I
brand
know
new.
those
Those are all
characters.
brand
Yeah,
new characters.
yeah.
they sound like the cast of the CW.
It's not even like
Well,
They don't
it's funny.
sound
Dan or
That
like
anything like
they
that.
don't
it's
sound
funny.
like Street Fighter characters. You know what I'm
It's
saying?
it's funny. It's funny that you say that because someone
Casey.
online had said that it sounds like uh, a Twitch version of Saved by the Bell.
I
Oh
wanna
yeah, there you
wait
go.
for our lives to be over. Yeah, like it's
It's
very, they
really
sound very
really weird.
sitcom-y. They kind of look like young and sitcom-y too, the characters. So I'm wondering how cool
Yeah.
those created characters are going to be, or those extra characters are going to be. But if
I mean, they actually
characters
seem
like
pretty
Dan
cool.
are
I
any
like
indication, right? Well, I mean,
Dan is
Street
always
Fighter
going to
has
be
a
the joke
history of
character.
making right, exactly, but that's my point. Like they have a point of making even like the silly joke characters like fun in their own way. So I can see this like still because Street Fighter characters, including the expansion ones like T Hawk and DJ, like from the slightly later versions of Street Fighter 2 are still iconic. So like I'm still looking forward to that like quite a bit. And Tekken
No,
8
these
is
new
coming out too,
characters.
right?
Yeah, Tekken 8 is coming out. Tekken 8 look like it's going to be really good.
Yeah.
So for me, this is like an awesome, like kind of like resurgence of the fighting game community.
Yeah.
You know, so but with Street Fighter 6, um, I like this one new character that's coming out called Kimberly. She's she's she kind of represents, like, I would say, very Brooklyn-esque character. However, she is a very clearly a student of um she's very clearly a student of a guy who's a ninja. So she plays like this ninja style, which is super dope. And like the stuff that I've seen so far, like, seems to make her just seems like a really fun character to play. So I'm super looking forward to that.
Yeah,
I really like the style too.
yeah, the visuals are crazy, right? So, you know, it
Yeah.
seems those visuals are very much not like Street Fighter before,
Well, so one thing that
So-
Street Fighter has always done is that with every new iteration, they have like a bit of a whole different art style. Like Alpha had its art style, Street Fighter Third Strike had its kind of real cool art style, and so did Street Fighter 4 and 5, which kind of shared the same theme and engine and everything. But everything is meant to like have some sort of tones of street culture, and with this one, they went full street culture. Like everything like has like these ink blot explosions that have to do with graffiti. The intro is super dope. Again, this one feels like the most Bushwick Street Fighter of all time. So
Yeah, the art styles is true. I remember like I feel like 3 was kind of like influenced by and what influenced like the Marvel versus Capcom games, right? Like there was that sort of similar art style for 3. But like this looks like, what the heck is the name of that? There was that Sega game for Dreamcast where you had to go around like tagging graffiti everywhere. It has like that kind of look.
Oh yeah.
that was for Dreamcast.
Jet Set
Are you
Radio?
talking about like the
Jet Set Radio,
the
yeah,
Jet Set,
yeah.
Jet Set Radio? Yeah. Oh yeah, Jet
think
Set
it was
Radio. It came out for
Dreamcast, right?
PlayStation also. It came out for
Yeah,
PlayStation
yeah.
also. But yeah,
They've
I
remade it
believe
a
it
couple
like
of times,
was.
I think.
I think it was originally for Dreamcast. Yeah.
I think so. It
Yeah,
was one of
Jet
the,
Set
one of the
Radio
Radio
was
sequels.
awesome.
Yeah,
It's time
like the
to
art style's
harsh
cool.
the mellow in this room.
Wait,
What
why?
was that?
What happened?
It's time to harsh the mellow in this room.
Okay,
Oh, okay.
go ahead
Because
then.
Ken got recast.
What do you mean? Ken
voice
got
actor.
recast? The voice actor? Why?
Yeah.
Oh, he got recast. I didn't realize he got
Seemingly
recast.
over political tweets.
Oh, come
Really?
Yep.
on. He's Gina Caranoing it up.
He actually is a big fan of Gina Carano and her situation. So he's
Wow.
he's very much a MAGA guy. So
I mean, I'm okay
Okay,
with that.
dude.
It's funny. It's funny that I
He
mean, but
got
that's
Gina Carano.
yeah. But
He said
aside
something
from that,
stupid.
Ken. But that's the thing. Ken is Ken is not that character. So you can't cast you can't play a character that you're like, this doesn't make sense. Ken is a philanthropist. Although he's a philanthropist and he's like, your go around good guy, family guy. You know what I mean? But what's interesting about Ken is that Ken is my favorite character, by the way. Has always been. But they are really changing the storyline for Ken because Ken has always been, the guy that's like he's like the Vegeta, right? He's all about his family. And wow, I just realized like Ken and Goku are basically, Ken and Ryu are basically Goku and Vegeta. Where Ryu doesn't care about anything except for fighting and getting better. And Ken is like, well, I love fighting, but I also love my family too. And because of that, that's why he's always like the second place, basically, you know. But in this one, Ken, who has always represented like, goody two shoes, can't really do wrong, except for the fact that he's very cocky, like Tony Stark, playboyish and all that stuff. In this one, he's actually on the run because some organization has like there's accusations of like corporate crime, and he's been ousted as the VP of his own company, and he's like living on the streets and stuff, which is really interesting.
Bison did that. Ken. Bison framed him, man. Free Ken, bro.
It is really interesting, free Ken, because, right? Yeah, that's basically what's going on. I'm really interested to see this like new gritty kind of Ken, because Ken has never played the gritty character. He's always like, I'm just really, really good and I make it look easy. Now he's like down in the slumps. He has like, facial hair. He's all like got raggedy clothes on and stuff like that. So I'm really interested to see what's happening.
He's like an Obi-Wan. He's one of the clones from the Clone Wars.
He kind of has like the Obi-Wan kind of treatment where he's like now gone into seclusion and stuff.
The Boba Fett
if you look at, and you know what's really cool from his character design, his belt is now wrapped around his arm.
Wrapped around his arm.
Yeah.
Damn, bro.
Like in one of the artworks. Yeah,
these are like the coolest characters for real, because I always remember from the 90s anime, like I remember the song and I remember like the scene where he's like just driving in his cool ass like sports car listening to Alice in Chains and Dem Bones playing on the
Porsche
radio.
911 convertible. That is literally the day I fell in love with the brand Porsche.
Oh, for real?
I seen that. I can remember that scene. I can remember that scene. He's driving with Eliza, and he like zones out. He's thinking about like Ryu, and the next thing you know, he's like driving into oncoming traffic on a Capcom branded 18-wheeler. Drops her off, and then Bison out of nowhere comes in and like basically abducts him out of his red 911 Porsche.
Yep.
All this talk is making me want to watch the anime again.
Oh, the anime is so good.
I know.
If you guys have not seen Street Fighter 2, the animated movie,
but that's the best one. That's the best one.
There's definitely a few since that first one, but they've all kind of dwindled in quality.
And the animation style still holds up, because every once in a while you see that opening scene with
right?
with Ryu and Sagat, and that thing it's just amazing the way that they animate that one. You know what I'm saying?
I just remember as a kid seeing like the censored version with like the blood being like gray when you got like
the American version. So there's the American one, and then there's the original Japanese uncut one. The uncut one has a few extra scenes. The movie
bloody scenes.
The movie is not for children.
Yeah. So
I hope they lean into that kind of storytelling, because that was like just incredible. Like every fight in that, like
the fights. Like
was amazing. Chun-Li versus Vega in the apartment. That was literally. And if y'all haven't checked it out, like we said, check out that anime Street Fighter.
It's not that typical anime fight, because you know what, the choreography was amazing.
Oh my god, dude! When Vega jumped off the ceiling,
exactly, right?
Chun-Li countered by so Vega's trying to do his panic foot stomp, or not the foot stomp, but he's doing like his claw up jump. From the game. So that's the other thing too. They are very good at like translating the moves in the game to world in the animated movie. But she counters by like planting her feet right under his feet and then pushing him off. Oh, it's so good. Guys, you guys gotta watch.
I gotta watch it again.
Yeah,
I
that
think
movie.
I'm queuing that up
Kicks him through
right
the
now.
wall.
You know,
Like,
Bro, she takes
launches
a
him
sofa. She
off the
takes a sofa and
skyscraper.
throws it at his face. Oh
like,
god.
what? Oh man, that's so.
Why can't that movie
good.
was so good. I don't know why we don't have that like more of that movie. That movie was just so freaking good. The fight with Fei Long.
Maybe
and
something
Ryu.
with this.
Oh,
We should start a geek petition and be like, "Yo, y'all want to see like a new
they
Street
need
Fighter
to, like, Street
animated
Fighter
movie
has
based
such
on
a good
6?"
story. Yeah.
Like everybody will watch it. You know what I mean? Like people
of
are
course.
obsessed with the Street Fighter story and the lore. You know, and for a fighting game, that's rare. You know what I mean? Like Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, like that's it basically.
I don't think
Tekken
that
to a certain
there's
extent.
any. I don't think that there's any video game. Like I think I would have to say this. I don't think that there's any original video games that have a movie as good as Street Fighter 2 the animated movie. Can you think of any video
Like an
games,
animated movie,
original video games, or any movie? But we know that like we already know that like there's no such thing as
live
a good
action. It doesn't
live
exist.
action
Yeah,
movie. I guess
thinking
Sonic
animated.
would
as,
be
as,
the-
it's funny because you mentioned live action, so we're talking about how great the anime is,
yeah.
and we're trying to figure out if there's anything better. I can tell you that Street Fighter has probably one of the worst live action because
Oh yeah, it has the absolute worst. Chun-Li's,
yeah, The Legend of Chun-Li.
Yeah, that
it's 3% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Even the Mortal Kombat anime that we saw recently was pretty dope. The Scorpions.
Even the Mortal
Revenge.
Kombat
It was
live
good, but
action
it-
was
it-
good.
Right.
It's not Street Fighter 2
Yeah, that's
level.
true.
I agree.
It's not. Yeah, I don't think that a Street Fighter animated 2 level. I guess the original Mortal Kombat and also the recent live action Mortal Kombat. All right, all right, let's see this.
You know what I haven't seen?
The most
wanna mention
recent
this
live
after.
action. The most recent live action Mortal Kombat versus Street Fighter 2 the animated movie. What's better?
the most recent live
Oh,
action
it's
Mortal
kinda
Kombat
good.
was trash.
Huh?
It wasn't
Yeah,
trash.
No,
It wasn't trash.
But it
It
doesn't
was-
hold a candle to the anime. It really does.
It just it falls apart by the end for me, and the anime is just like worlds better. The only thing I
Yeah.
can think of I haven't seen, and like I didn't even know it was based on a video game until somebody told me the Arcane TV show, right? Like on Netflix.
Oh,
I've been telling you about that.
But that's a
I've been telling
series
you-
too.
That thing is awesome. You
Yeah.
guys have to watch that. It really, really is awesome. That's what is it? Legends of
It's a League of
Legends.
Legends. League of Legends.
right. Yeah,
I don't know anything about
So
that game.
good.
You know,
It is so
like,
good.
That's why I didn't know.
And the animation style in that series is just completely flat out breathtaking. I mentioned this before. You guys
No, I remember
really
actually.
need to
And
watch
no,
it.
I do remember you mentioning. And actually, one of my students over here at the dojo, he, shout out to Saad, who just finished a 3-month internship at Pixar, and hopefully we'll be moving on to something.
Oh, nice.
At either Disney or Marvel. But Arcane is one of his favorite shows. He swears by how good that show is. This is coming from like a 3D animation specialist. So
My brother-in-law like mentioned it also. So like, and a couple of other people mentioned it as well. Even my wife wants to check it out as well. So I gotta take advantage of that. She's like, wait for me before you watch it, because she's heard it's so good.
It's so good. It really, really is.
Ami was like in love with it as well, right? Didn't she?
She
Didn't
did.
She watch it with you?
She did. Yeah, she was addicted to it. So
Did AJ watch it?
None of my kids wanted to watch it because they looked at the show and they was like, "Oh, it's League of Legends. I don't want to deal with that."
Oh
and I'm
my
like,
God, these
"Dude,
kids.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, why are you limiting yourself? that way?
Judgy.
Well,
Judgy
to be
AJ.
fair,
So judgy.
It's
AJ.
on my docket.
Yeah, you gotta watch it.
Hold on.
Yeah, after like
Hold on.
2
You
years.
have a docket.
Yeah,
Let's talk about what else is on your
recently-
docket.
Yeah, I recently
Yeah.
found out that I haven't been taking care of my show docket, so it's become egregiously long.
But what's at the very top of your docket?
I
It
don't even
has
want
to
to make
be
a docket
Arcane.
for that reason.
It has to be Arcane.
It is not.
Then-
But it is-
What is?
Kind of high up there.
Oh, that's just shameful.
Let's see here. I'm pulling it up. All right. Well, I already started Primal, so that's okay.
Is that the Jendi Tartatovsky show or
Yep.
Yeah, that
it
got a
is? Yeah.
season 2 I didn't know about.
It did. Oh, wow, okay. I saw a few episodes of that, but like we didn't get past like 4 or 5 episodes, but it was a really cool like silent film vibe, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it got very metal and very bloody. I
I
like
mean,
it.
it was kind of from the beginning. Like cuz
Yeah, but
the
it gets better.
because the set, have you all like even seen any of it? The setup is like, what is he? He's like a caveman with a family, and then like the T Rex comes along and
I
like
think
eats
I
his
saw like
family.
the
Right?
first episode, but I don't remember it.
Yeah,
So
he's like trying to get revenge on that T Rex, and then I think he finds out that T Rex's family also got eaten by like bigger T Rexes, and so they become
What?
friends. Right? Isn't that like the premise or something like that?
Yeah.
AJ?
So it's
Yeah.
like a huge. So he thinks that this one T-Rex is the one that offed his family, but it turns out
Oh, right,
that
right.
there is a bigger variant that messed with both of them.
Yep.
And through that shared loss, they kind of became companions.
Mm-hmm. There's a
revenge
like
story.
dope fight scene like in the first couple episodes where they both fight the much bigger T Rex. It's like the Indominus Rex or whatever it's called from Jurassic
Sort
World.
of, yeah.
It's like but it's way
Dominus
bigger than like
Rex.
the other one, right? So like it's like on a level of its own. So like it was
Yeah.
pretty cool from the episodes that I saw. That's number 1 on your list.
Yeah, so is JoJo's. I just found out that the second half of the season showed up. So that's definitely up there.
It's
Mm-hmm.
funny because as we're doing this podcast right now, Eli is trying out the and going back to the theme of Street Fighter, right? There's a JoJo Bizarre Adventure fighting game called All Star Battle. It's a remake of the original one, and he's actually playing that
Wait.
right now.
The remake is on what?
It's on the Series X, and I believe it's on PS5 also.
Oh snap! I have it over here at the dojo on my Dreamcast.
Oh, it looks phenomenal right now. Like I'm watching it. He's fighting with Giovanni and
Josuke.
Josuke, and it looks amazing. It really does.
Interesting.
So,
Like it's like anime style.
oh, it looks exactly like the TV show.
Okay.
You know,
That's pretty
That's
cool.
super dope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the new season's out, right?
The second half. They released the first half like, oh my god, how many months ago? And now the second half dropped recently. And I have to really get on that because I've been waiting for that for like so long. And then, of
Oh,
course, you have like, I'm not gonna go through everything else, but closer to
Give
the
us
top.
give us
is
like your
also-
top 5, your absolute top 5.
Yeah, so because I'm already doing horror story and stories, so that's already. I'm not even gonna mention that. Midnight Mass, Arcane. There you go. Blood of Zeus,
It's tough.
and the Cuphead show.
Now I'll personally vouch for Midnight Mass. That's a show on Netflix. It's a horror series. That thing is awesome. Also, you know, if you like horror, that is a definitely must watch. So
Yeah, but like, okay, hold on. I need to kind of vent this here now though, because while we're talking about all these great things, there's a really bad thing also. It's called Dragon Ball Superhero. It was not good.
You didn't like it? Like
No.
at all?
No.
Why?
Okay. Look,
Oh,
I
boy.
don't mind that Cell and
What have I done?
Cell. No, that's not Cell.
Cell Max.
yeah,
No, I'm not willing to call that a Cell at all. Piccolo and Gohan, thank you. They're relevant again. Nice. But you know what?
It's
You only get a
semi-relevant.
great-
It's hard for me to even say relevant. I like that what they did, but if you consider not to jump on your bandwagon, but if you really consider what they did, are they really relevant in the face of gods?
Yes.
Characters kind of are.
Yes.
If you read the manga and what's going on with it now,
No spoilers.
then,
Not going.
then yes. That's why I don't want to say anything. But like, there's something that just happened in the manga with
Yeah,
one of
I think I know
the
what you're
legacy
talking about.
characters, one of like the big legacy Dragon Ball characters, and that's as far as I'll go spoiler wise. That might actually make some of that relevant. Might, very much might, but I kind of agree. They're not like super relevant, but it's finally cool to see them actually get to win like one fight, like one like at least mid to high stakes fight, something that they haven't done since Z, probably, right? Like either of them.
Yeah.
I guess. But then we have Cell Max, who
No,
AJ
that's not a
doesn't
Cell.
consider.
That's not a Cell.
I'm pretty sure he's a Cell.
No, he's not.
I'm
he's not.
pretty sure. I mean,
He's a freaking kaiju. That's
well,
what
yeah,
he
but
is.
so is Piccolo now.
Well, yeah, apparently, I guess. You know.
Well, that has some precedent, believe it or not.
Go on.
So,
he just drops that and just leaves it alone. Like,
Give us the precedent.
so in Dragon Ball, not Dragon Ball Z, not Dragon Ball GT, Dragon
That's
Ball.
right. Yeah, that's right.
Piccolo goes kaiju sized when he fights, or Piccolo Jr. rather, goes kaiju sized when he fights Goku in the World Martial Arts Tournament. So
Yeah, that's why they like
what that
brought
is.
it back up, right? They made it
Yeah.
kind of a gag that he forgot about that literally since Dragon Ball. The fact that he can
to
become
be
bigger, but they explained it away, right, by saying like he doesn't get any stronger. It's just like
Yeah, so that's why it's not really worth remembering. You just get
That makes
bigger,
sense.
that's it.
Yeah. I think, you know what,
just to take up space.
This was my feeling. I'm not as critical about the movie as AJ is, but you know, for me the movie was just fine. It wasn't bad. It wasn't good. It was just fine. Like, you know, there's usually a lot of hype when it comes to Dragon Ball movies, right? Because we kind of expect it to be actually really, really good, and it was just fine. I think one of the biggest problems, one of the biggest things that we had is you know, Dragon Ball seems to be becoming a lot like X-Men, where the timeline is really, really, really getting muddled here. You know what I'm saying? Because
actually, you're right.
Yeah, because
Power
we're
levels
watching.
too,
and that too. But
Always
we're watching
that
this
way.
thing, and you know, there's kind of an expectation. I don't know if it's everybody, but we're kind of thinking that eventually, you know, either the show or the movies are going to touch upon the galactic prisoner arc, you know, and we're going to see Moro, and we're going to see Gas, and we're going to see all these characters that are in the manga, and then you have this movie. And it's like, well, where does this movie fall in there? Because this is literally after Dragon Ball. But, you know, a lot of the events that happen in the manga kind of precede this. But then this literally happens like 6 months after the last movie. So how do you fit all these things in there? You know?
No, it can't be because the characters are much older. What's their name? Like Goten and Trunks are like
me and Andre,
teenagers now.
No. Me and Andre had this discussion, right? It was 6 months after.
But it can't
because
be.
remember,
the characters have aged up.
They
they're
literally
teenagers.
say
They
it in the
weren't teenagers
movie.
in the last one.
They literally say it in the movie.
I don't know.
We've been training with Broly for the last 6 months. It's a 6-month time period.
That doesn't mean it was. That doesn't mean it was exactly 6 months though.
Right, but then the other thing too is that the 6 months
How would they be older?
Isn't time different though?
But that's what I'm saying.
though.
I think we're getting into this weird X-Men type thing where it's like, how do we approach this timeline? Because everything seems to be like out of whack.
Hold on.
You know?
Real quick.
The characters
who
are
states
older,
that it's
but
6
what they
months?
say is not correct. Well, the Frieza thing, no, that's a different thing.
No, because if it's happening on Whis' planet or Beerus' planet or whatever,
That doesn't have any time dilation.
No,
it
doesn't.
Literally,
Nope, that's only the hyperbolic time chamber.
the movie is 6 months after.
Who says it?
No.
Goku says
Goku
it.
says it.
Well, then
No, but there's still
So
somebody
6
messed
months.
up.
So
Broly.
6 months. So 6 months training on Whistle's plan is also 6 months Earth time.
Yeah, it's not. There's no time dilation. There isn't.
So that's what I'm saying. It feels weird because, like you mentioned, they aged up characters. It's literally 6 months. It's literally they vocalized it and said we've been training with Broly for 6 months, and then
That doesn't.
we
But
we go
that
back.
doesn't mean that they started right away training with him. I mean, it's a wonky way to say
Actually,
it.
that's true. I
It
guess
doesn't
that's
actually
true.
mean that it
Like,
was
you can
right
kind of explain
after.
it that way. You could
Okay,
explain
but-
it away that way. It's been 2 years since this, but we've been training with him the last 6 months.
I mean,
Okay,
look at it this way.
maybe,
They
if you want to put it that way,
they
but
state
it doesn't
canon.
seem
Yeah, it
plausible
doesn't.
that they're going to wait 2 to 3 years to go back
That's
and train to
true.
Broly.
That's true.
with
That's
Broly,
very
you
true.
know? Goku
Well, I
wants to
found an
train with him
article
right
here.
away. You know what I'm saying?
I found an article here that's Japan is 3 years old during the events of Superhero. So the movie has to take place, if Dragon Ball Z is canon, right? It has to take place 1 to 2 years before the 28th World Martial Arts Tournament, which concludes
end of
Dragon
Z.
Ball Z. So even like you can say that it's weird, but like yeah, they definitely couldn't have gone straight into training with Broly. But like if you think about it, that kind of makes some sense too, because Broly didn't seem like he wanted to fight or do anything for a bit when he settled on that new planet at the end of Dragon Ball Super Broly. He was just like, I just want to live a life. I don't want to necessarily
it's
go
so-
fight.
you know
I
what,
don't
like,
know. Goku
he-
visited him and said he
But
would
Go-
visit him again, but he didn't say
And
that
he
like
smirked,
let's go
and he
train
was like-
right away. He didn't say
no,
that.
but Broly never gave me the impression that he just wanted to chill, because when Goku said that, he smirked at him and he was like, "All right, you and I, we
That's
got
true.
this." You know what I'm
That's
saying?
true. To
So,
be fair though, he did say that he would be visiting him from time to time to train with
Yeah.
him.
It
I
is
could
wonky,
see
though.
this. Yeah, it is.
I agree.
I mean,
It's really, really weird.
I don't know.
You know,
yeah. I mean, they could obviously do a much better job. Like this is actually kind of like the least of the complaints, personally. Like,
oh no doubt, no doubt. You know what I'm saying?
Did they say this movie is canon? They haven't. They didn't say
It's
that.
absolutely
specifically,
canon.
did
I
they?
hope it's not.
Absolutely.
I
Yeah.
hope it's not.
but it
Broly
absolutely is.
Please, no.
It absolutely is, because the thing is that like all the movies that they're doing now is
Now,
to canonize, right? Like Resurrection F and everything else is to fast track certain, like, I guess, like fill in certain gaps or create new gaps, so that they can then fast track whatever for the next series, next show and stuff. Because I'm sure that on the show they're now gonna have like, whatever, extra super duper spiky gorilla glue hair Gohan in the show.
No
So-
spoilers. Yeah, Beast Gohan.
This
right?
is
Wait, you didn't see
definitely
it?
canon though. This is definitely
Yeah.
canon.
Yeah,
Toriyama's
you
already
saw it though,
said
no?
it.
Yeah, I saw it.
Oh, okay, yeah. No.
He's called Beast Gohan. It's the name, right? That's his canon
Yeah.
name.
Beast
Gohan.
mode or something like that.
You know what? Like, I'm mad that they introduced that new form, but what I'm most mad about is that in their desire to make it exactly like the last fight with Cell, where he kind of finishes him with one blast, like they wasted making that form look cool. Like they didn't do anything like, because like
Yeah, they didn't do
even
anything
with
special.
Dragon Ball, yeah, like even with Dragon Ball Super, I wasn't a huge fan of like Ultra Instinct becoming a thing. I was like, they gave us, Super Saiyan God. They gave us Super Saiyan God Blue. Like they could have stretched all that out and have that been the big form at the end of this. We didn't need
Yeah,
4
I
new
know.
forms. But
Yeah.
like at least with that, he
That's
did
actually one of
something
my
cool.
biggest gripes too.
He did something cool at least when he went like perfected Ultra Instinct. Like he like moved so fast that Broly couldn't. Like he did some cool stuff.
listen,
and Gohan just stood
I'm not
there and
too-
blasted Cell Max, and the fight was over. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
see, that's why I can't. First of all, I can't get behind this Max as a character. Like
I
Cell.
like Dr. Head though.
When I think of Cell, I think of a calculating, a smart. There's something going on up here. Calculating bastard who eats people to get stronger. This is just a big hulking idiot that's supposed to be a Cell. Like that is not Cell. It is not.
Well, to be fair, they did say that, you know what, this cell wasn't like fully ready. Like he was a prototype cell, and he needed more selling, I guess, if that's a thing.
Doesn't excuse it.
Yeah. You know what? That does make sense. It is. It does. It's kind of like, yeah, like this isn't like really Cell's complete form or what they expected, because he also didn't have like, he was supposed to have like, I guess, his mind or whatever, or like all the
Yeah.
data
He
from the
didn't even.
previous Cell.
This is also supposed to be a better Cell. It can't regenerate.
This basically is bio.
Again, he's not complete though. He's not complete. Yeah, this is what I said, that this is basically Bio Broly.
Yeah, he's basically
Yeah,
just
it's
bio
a shadow of, and Bio Broly did not do well. Bio Broly was just a
No.
cash in. Yeah, like they
Yeah.
were just trying to cash in on Broly. I mean, like, going back to that whole like debacle. If you're gonna bring back Broly, why don't you bring back Broly the same way you bring back every character with the Dragon Balls? They could have just done that, and then like we get like an actual Broly.
Yeah, I know.
But
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of Broly, but that is one of my least favorite Dragon Ball
yeah.
You know what they need to
properties,
do?
film, anime, whatever you want to call it.
They need to bring Cooler into the canon. That's what they
Thank
need.
you.
Yeah, they do.
Thank you.
Yeah, I know. As opposed to giving Frieza another form.
Kill him. Kill him
You
now.
know what? Would have been cooler. Should have killed him.
Should have killed who?
And
Frieza?
now you would also if Cooler had been brought in, then now you have like the real like Frieza turning into a frenemy, I guess, because now he has like this whole like, all right, well, I guess I'll fight along with you guys to kill my brother.
I'm not saying that's what the manga's about, but y'all need to read the manga, like, because there's a lot of cool stuff going on, for sure. Like,
Well,
Cooler
yeah,
needs to come
I
back
guess.
though, for sure. Or like needs to be introduced. I think they mention him? Didn't they mention that like him and make him kind of canon without giving him a name in one of the movies or something? Like, wasn't he in Broly?
Like
I think.
actually.
No.
I don't remember.
I don't know.
Like, I
'Cause
know
they
King
canonized
Cold
Vegeta's
was
brother.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah, they canonized
they did.
Vegeta's brother.
Yeah.
Which I'm
But-
really interested in seeing like how that's going to come to fruition.
Yeah, I would love to see Cooler come back somehow. That's all I'm saying.
You know what would
I
be
think
really
we can do
cool,
that.
and this would be like the last point that I would make on Dragon Ball.
Mhm.
What would be really cool is if they canonize GT.
Thank you. Oh, see, that's why I think that they need to lead it
They still
into.
can.
Like, I'm not saying do GT bit for bit for bit for bit. You can change it, incorporate the blue forms. I don't care,
They
but
still can.
leading it into that storyline would be so cool.
That's gonna
I really
finally
like some
settle
of the GT storylines, and I think that they could do it by doing the whole like, oh well, this is one of the universes that got deleted that we just brought back to life.
It would be a multiverse because the power scaling is already destroyed. If you like have to scale Super Saiyan 4 now with all these gods and other creatures that they've fought in Super, it's like, what the hell is going on with these power levels?
Yeah, I hate what
point.
they've done. They've kind of killed the legendary status of being Super Saiyan.
Yeah.
Even
I mean,
the Super Saiyan God, it's like, hey, like Super Saiyan God. 5 episodes later, Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Blue.
Toriyama himself killed it like when he created Super Saiyan though. Like not for nothing because like he had the official power levels back then. And I think what Super Saiyan increases your power like 30 times or something like that or like 100 times over your base. Like he didn't have to go that far. You know what I mean?
The thing is that that's not an
Goku was like
issue.
300,000 in his base level and then he was like 15 million in Super Saiyan.
Yeah, I mean, but
you know what I mean?
that doesn't matter as long as you have like appropriate villains for it, and with the multiverse, like you're always going to be able to find. You can always create villains that match certain power levels, but with
I agree.
It's the frequency. It's the frequency that kills.
It's also made a lot
that's
of
the
the
thing.
non-Saiyan characters irrelevant.
That's kind of the thing though. Like
they can never attain that level, no matter how much they practice.
if I think that if he hadn't made it the standard that every villain has to have that jump in power level like 50 times, you have to get 50 times stronger just by getting pissed off, like in order to match this villain. If he hadn't made that the standard, we probably wouldn't have had, like, because of the frequency, like you said, Wolfie, like these power levels going exponential like every single time they fight a villain. I mean, I don't know. We're not here to talk about Dragon Ball for the whole conversation, so I'll leave it at that. Like, I've been watching some other pretty cool anime lately. There's one that I've been wanting to suggest in the chat, but I figured I'd just save it for the convo that we're having today because I feel like I should suggest it to some of our fans. My good friend Teresa suggested this to me. It's this anime called Claymore. I don't know if y'all have ever heard of it, but the premise of it is, and the funny thing, the reason that she suggested it mostly in the first place is that the main character's name is Claire, which is my wife's name. So you spend like the whole anime with like these characters in their Japanese accents going like Claire, 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 like so it's just like really cool. I think it's fun. Attack on Titan does the same thing where they take like these very American or like German or like obviously names from another language and like they really try to make it sound as good as they can with Japanese voice actors. But so this anime is essentially, it's this group of female warriors that are called claymores, but they don't call themselves that. Only like the public calls them that. And their thing is that they're like basically half human, half demon. And their demon half is from a creature that they hunt. So like their whole job is to hunt these creature called Yoma, which each of the claymores is also half Yoma. So they have like powers of this beast and like they hunt these demons. And like the really cool like aspect of it initially is like over time as they unleash their power as Yoma, as these demons, they become those creatures. They become what's called awakened and eventually become like those monsters that they fight. So they like enlist one of their like fellow claymores when they're getting to that point to kill them before they become a Yoma. And like it's a very short anime. It's like 26 episodes. Like the manga apparently is longer and like the anime came out years ago and like they started animating it. Like this is the thing with anime, I realize. Like there's a lot of anime that's like unfinished compared to like the manga that's based on, which is a little sad. And Claymore is kind of the same thing.
That's interesting.
No. It's I've been noticing this lately as because I've been watching a lot more anime in like the last couple of months, and I'm like reading a little bit of manga. Next thing I'm going to get into, Wolfie, you'll be excited. I got Crunchyroll. I'm going to watch Spy X Family because
sick.
I've been really craving watching that. Yeah, I'm watching something else now because I finished Claymore like a couple of weeks ago. But like, yeah, like Claymore's really cool because it has like really awesome like villain character designs. All the Yoma look a little bit different when they like, you know, reach their really high power levels. And like my friend Teresa, who suggested it to me, there's also a character named Teresa, so that's kind of fun too. But like it's on Funimation, it's on Crunchyroll, it's pretty much everywhere, and like it's actually like I've been reading about it. It's considered like one of those underrated anime, like in the vein of like a Demon Slayer, like Berserk, like similar combat, like similar like storyline elements, like similar tones and themes. It's a really short anime, and like I freaking like went through it super quick, like 26 episodes in like I don't know, like a week or two. So it might be worth checking out if y'all are interested in finding.
You know what?
any
I gave
cool
it a
new anime
shot
out there.
years ago, and I saw like the first 3 episodes, but it was like
Mhm.
kind of like another time similar to my time now, where like I was just so busy that I
So
would
busy,
sit
yeah.
down, turn on the anime, and then be falling asleep.
Mhm. That's what happens to
Especially
me
because
with
when
Cowboy
you're
Bebop.
tired, especially
And
when
you know
you're
I love
tired
Cowboy
and you want to read, like having to read subtitles,
This is
can
true.
really put you to sleep sometimes.
This
But
is
yeah,
true.
but you mentioned Berserk, and that anime was like quite gripping. You know, when
I'm watching it now. I'm watching it
Yeah.
now for the first time ever. Like I'm watching Berserk, the 1997 anime. not the more
Yeah.
recent 2013 one. I think was the release of the more recent one. That's like more computer generated and all that.
Yeah, so they have like a few things. They have the original anime, then they have the compilation movies. There's three
Which
movies
yeah,
that
I want to watch that next.
basically is essentially the anime, but it retells the story in a different way because it leaves some stuff out from the show. And personally, I actually like the three movies better than the actual show, mainly
Yeah,
because of the
I
way
I've
agree.
heard
that
that.
it set it up. In the show, it starts you off with kind of like guts already being guts, basically being the guts that you see, and everything. But the movies,
Mm.
the show will start you off with guts, with like all like the scars and the weapons
Yeah,
and
he's
all that
already the
stuff.
Black Swordsman
Yeah,
at
he's
that
already the
point.
Black
There's
Sword.
only flashes of that in what I've seen in the '97 anime so far. They show
Right,
him
but
as a kid, like
but it
one time.
starts, yeah, and
Yeah.
so then like it goes into his past on the show, whereas the movies start from his youth. The movies
Okay.
basically start basically from his origin story, and
Mm.
it progresses to um, how he became who he is now. And I really
Okay.
liked seeing that before the show because it was recommended to me by a good friend of mine, who really, really wanted me to see the show, but I saw that there was a show and then the movies, and I decided to see the movies first. He was really upset because it's like, oh, you're not getting everything. But I kind of like that I didn't see all the stuff, before it happened. You know what I mean?
Okay. Okay.
Like, yes, Paulie.
Well, you know what?
In the group chat, I guess Walt knows. I guess like it was during that time, and like Paulie,
You,
who's a friend of ours, um, he was very very adamant about how terrible the movies are, just because it didn't, you know.
did you know
Really?
that Paulie was the one that got me into Berserk?
Oh no,
I've
Paulie is
also
an
heard the movies are
ambassador
good
for
too.
Berserk. Paulie
Yeah.
has been Paulie has been like telling everybody about Berserk. It's like he sees a 3-year-old child in a stroller, and you're like, "Hey, have you heard about Berserk?
Yeah.
You should it's totally watch Berserk. It's gonna mess you
Yeah.
up." By the way, Berserk will mess you up if
Yes, it
you
will.
are not in the right mindset to watch some of the stuff that
It,
happens.
it goes really, really dark.
It goes, it
Super
goes
dark.
dark,
Ooh.
I love the
so
weirdness
dark.
of the tone so far, like though, because like I was mentioning this in the group chat, like the intro theme is like super 90s. It's like the intro to Friends. It's like a weird like emo like rock song, and then like the show has like that old school anime style, right? Like kind of like Voltron and like Robotech, where like the eyes are even bigger, and like it just has that like 80s 90s anime style that we like first got into when we watched, again, like we said, Robotech and Voltron and shows like that. And then the super dark elements, like how creepy Griffith is. You know what I mean? He's like, even
That's not
like in the first few episodes they have like the fight with like the water fight with like the freaking buckets of water when like Griffith is
Yeah.
taking a bath. And it's just like the
Yeah.
tone of that is just like so weird, and like
Right,
you
but
still
see,
have
this
this
is
like
actually
air of Griffith wanting to like dominate everything, even like a freaking bucket water fight. You know what I mean? Like the show's great so far.
perfect example. Perfect example of like, all right, like I'm not trying not to go into spoilers, but one of the things, and I guess maybe
Don't
we
go
should
too
talk
far.
about
Yeah,
this
yeah.
afterwards. I'm not going to go far, but the one thing is that, like, for example, in the movies, you don't know what's what, right?
hmm
Because this is their origin story, essentially.
Mhm.
So you don't know that Griffith is like a bad guy.
Well, actually, to be fair, that is kind of, I got that spoiled a lot beforehand because I know of
Okay.
Berserk but never
Yeah.
saw it, so I know he's the
We played the
antagonist.
game.
You
We played the
wouldn't
game way back
necessarily.
then.
That's true. Yeah, yeah. We
The
played the
game?
game when there was a
What
PlayStation
game?
game,
On what?
Guts
Is it
Revenge.
the, I
It was
wonder. I
called.
wonder. Guts Revenge. Oh my god,
Yeah,
dude! You know how much Guts? I've
it
been
was
dying to try and
awesome.
find Guts Revenge for the Dreamcast,
Dude,
because Guts Revenge for the Dreamcast is like $500.
Really?
well, there is
Yeah.
there is
Rare. Yeah,
a
it's so rare.
there is a
steep.
game on PlayStation right now that deals with Berserk. I can't remember what the name of it, but it
I
goes
doubt it's
through.
that good though. That was
It
a
goes through the
classic.
storyline. No, this is the one that's on the PlayStation now is a remake of an older one. I can't remember the name of it.
I think it was Guts Revenge. I think the
So then
PlayStation one
maybe-
was Guts Revenge, and then they remade it for Dreamcast or something.
That's
like the one you were
that's
talking about, Wolfie.
available. That's
Because
available
I
on
can
the
see
PlayStation
that.
Store now.
It is. I got my PlayStation
Yes.
4. I got the PS Plus now, whatever the heck it's called. I got to go check that out because that game was fantastic.
I'm gonna find out the name of it right now.
But
Because
like getting back to the anime, yeah, if you could find out what that is, that'd be awesome. But
Yeah.
like getting back to the anime, like I was Wolfie, like to get back to the point, kind of spoiled with the idea that Griffith is the antagonist because you don't totally get that sense right off the bat, right? Like like I said, there's a Jaime Lannister quality to him, which he's kind of a bad guy and then he's kind of a good guy again. I mean, there's like that quality to him basically where he's not
so
necessarily a villain.
you'll I think like I guess like when after you finish the show, maybe rewatch it by watching the movies, and then you'll see what I mean because like early on, obviously it's 3 feature length films, basically OVAs, and you don't really see that from Griffith until much later, in that whole storyline. So,
Okay.
so
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
'cause
So
he
like
just
for
met
me, like
recently.
like that being my first experience, I actually really liked Griffith, and I thought he was like this awesome good guy. And then,
He's an incredible
and
character.
and then I was like,
regardless.
oh my god. So, like especially when he does you'll see. I'm not gonna you'll see.
So I know that there's he's the main antagonist by the end for a reason, and that much I know.
Yeah.
And I know it's because they have that initial like connection and friendship and like weird relationship, and then I don't know exactly what happens, but I know that that's part of the trauma, and I can't wait to see like when that happens. But Griffith is like already one of my favorite anime characters, just period. He's like so cool in that anime.
When that happens, you better be prepared because it goes down like we were saying dark. This is like pitch black. How it gets really
yeah. It was I was not ready. At all.
Like everything. It's funny
This
because
shonen manga.
No kids around. No kids around.
Yeah, exactly.
This is
Because
not
it's funny
shonen.
because you're watching, and especially in the movies, it's really stark that way because the first 2 movies are really they're more like a high fantasy type of thing, like a Game of Thrones, and then you get to the 3rd movie, and it's just like what the hell is going on?
Oh my god!
You know
Oh
what I'm
my
saying?
god!
It's just so tonally different, and it's bleak, and the things that happen, you're like, what? It
was hard to keep my eyes open.
Yeah, it's very uncomfortable. So you've got something in store for you. By the way,
eventually
the game on PlayStation is called Berserk and the Band of the Hawk. So it's I
don't think that's it. The one that we played. I don't remember
that's
that
the one
being the name.
That's the one that's on PlayStation right now. So it's
right
like a
now.
Musu game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I'm talking about the original. The original.
No. The original was definitely Guts Revenge. That's without question. Cool. This one is a different thing, and so this one is more like a Musu game where it's kind of like one of those things where you're just going around 100 hits, that type of thing.
Yeah. No.
War.
Yeah. So
this one was kind of like I remember the Guts Revenge version being kind of like that old shooting game, kind of that insane shooting game. Remember one?
Yeah, this one's a little bit
PlayStation.
Yeah, this one's a little bit different. So
yeah.
But like we were saying, once you get to the very end of Berserk, it's one of these things that you really need to be mentally prepared because they're gonna hit you in ways.
Not at all.
Well, they're gonna.
No. That's the thing. That's the thing. Don't be mentally prepared. That's how you shouldn't go in there mentally prepared.
That's true.
Make sure that you see it like late at night. Lights are off.
Oh God, you're such a masochist, man.
Because there's there's a reason why they did what they did, and it's to kind of catch you off guard. So make sure that
Here's what I'm gonna do. What am I gonna do? I'm waiting for like a day when like I'm in a bad mood to begin with. Maybe like me and my wife will have like a little, not a fight, but like a little.
Oh,
tussle.
Wait, no,
I'll
don't do
wait
that.
wait until I have
No, then you're gonna
a really
no,
bad
you'll-
day
you'll
at
commit
work.
suicide at-
Also,
you'll
Yeah,
on top
no,
of it,
yeah,
and then-
don't do that. Don't do that.
and then I'll go watch.
You will, you will go
I'll
into
start
a
fights
real
with a couple of
depression
friends of
that.
mine.
Yeah. It's really hard,
Just
right? Because
be
I
like-
don't want you to be.
It's like
I
F you,
don't want you to
man.
be prepared for it. I don't want you to be prepared for it, but then I also don't want you to go into a deep depression.
Yeah, I
You
don't
know
need
the
to be
problem
flying
is,
to
though?
Georgia to find you in like a psychiatric hospital or whatever.
The problem is, like I said,
No.
Berserk is such an old property at this point, and I've been so interested in it for so long that I know a little bit about the fact that it's going to go from like it was never a shonen manga.
Do you know anything? That
I don't, but
All
I know
right,
that
so then you're
that,
not prepared.
You're not
I know
ready.
that it gets
It's-
really
you're not
bad.
ready.
I know
Trust
that it
me,
gets
You're
Game of
just
Thrones bad.
Not ready.
It gets worse than Game of Thrones
No.
bad. Game of Thrones.
Game of
doesn't have
Thrones.
that.
Well, you're preparing
Game
me
of
now.
Thrones. Game of
Well,
Thrones is like kindergarten. Game of Thrones is like
Yeah.
kindergarten compared to what happens in Berserk.
Game of
It's
Thrones.
worse than the Red Viper
child.
getting
Game of
his
Thrones
head squashed.
technically has a happy ending. Let's leave it like that.
1,000 times
Let's
worse.
leave it at
It's-
that. Game of Thrones technically has a happy ending. So
Dude.
Well, the anime doesn't finish, obviously, because the manga was still ongoing, right? If I'm not mistaken. Like, not
Yeah, it was,
super,
yeah.
but it was. Like, he was still writing it before he passed away. Because,
Yeah.
like, that's my goal eventually. My goal eventually, I want to watch all of this. Well, even, like, the later anime that's less well-received, but still people like it, apparently. You know, it's not bad.
I didn't like it. I thought it was trash.
I can't get into it. I really
Yeah.
can't. I
I
tried
mean, I want to watch
several
it anyway.
times and I can't.
Anyway, we
It's
really
kinda- it's
should
kinda
just like
like-
stop talking about it because
Yeah, yeah.
I
I'm
want
gonna sort of
to
finish it
go
up.
back to leaving you super unprepared.
Yeah, I'm trying to close this one off a little bit because my thought eventually is to just get the manga. I almost got it, but it's like $50 a volume. So like,
There's a lot of them. There's a
yeah,
lot
exactly.
of them.
That's why I'm like, it's going to take an investment for me to get this, but I want to do that eventually. Just read the manga because it's basically considered one of the greatest manga of all time, and I've been looking for something to sink my teeth into. So once I've seen all of this, including the newer anime, because let me tell you, Wolfie, like the thing is, you know what I just finished also? Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Like it takes me time to get through these things.
Finally,
I loved it, obviously. Like, there's so many good characters in that. That's a whole other conversation, maybe for another podcast. I would love to talk about it. But, like, I wanted to go and watch the original Full Metal Alchemist because I just kind of wanted to see the differences. And I, like, was reading that the storyline is different in some ways in that one, in little ways that I'd love to see those differences. So, like, I'm still going to go out and seek the newer Berserk anime, even if it's not super well received, even if it's not the best, just because I'm curious to see what the differences are. I mean, but we'll see. Like, I got to get through this one first. I'm only about 7 episodes in. There's like 26, 27, right? It's kind of like Cowboy Bebop or Claymore.
yeah,
It's not super
like,
long. So
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a typical half season.
I think the
half year.
movies are pretty available in a few different places too. So I got to look that up next, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been super into that lately.
Is there anything else? I mean, there's some stuff that's coming up, namely Comic-Con and Anime Con. Is anybody here going to that?
No, man, I wish.
I wanted to, and I just completely forgot to get tickets for the New York Comic Con. But
They just
it
had
is what it
Dragon
is.
Con here in Atlanta too. That's something that I would like to check out next
Dragon
year.
Con. What is
Dragon
Dragon
Con.
Con?
Dragon Con is apparently not. It's nothing on the level of Comic Con, but it's really a really big. Like, let's put it this way: y'all remember going to like the Heroes and Villains conventions that we went to in Jersey or whatever it was? It's like way bigger than that. You know what I mean? It's like a somewhere in between Comic Con and that. Like, and it's a yearly convention that happens in Atlanta, obviously, around this time. I think it happened a week ago today, if I'm not mistaken. And it's just essentially the same thing. It's just another like fan convention. People get super dressed up and like, just walk around in costume. A lot of, people come by and sign autographs from TV shows, from, comic book writers and things like that. It's just the same. I was even going to say, like, it would be great, like, if y'all wanted to come visit Atlanta at some point, to come to a Dragon Con, and like we can do it as a crew. But Like, yeah, I mean, it's the same thing as Comic-Con, which is coming up very, very soon. And we're excited to see what comes out of Comic-Con as well. But
Yeah.
like Dragon Con probably doesn't have as many like announcements and stuff like that, like a Comic-Con because of the size of it, right?
But I'm
You know,
assuming that
that's
because
the
it's
thing.
Dragon Con, that this is like a D&D, slash Lord of the Rings slash
That's what I thought
Game
too.
of Thrones kind of themed convention.
I thought it was too, honestly, because like my friends out here, and AJ, like I said, you got to jump in on this. We've been doing this remotely. If anybody wants to jump in, we've been playing D&D now. I have a D&D character. It's terrible. I need to
Ah,
change it. We do it every
I
couple
can
of
barely
weeks
make time for the podcast.
for a few hours. I know, I understand, but I know AJ's real big into D&D, and he's probably mad that I got into D&D with another crew. So if you want to play D&D, AJ, let me know.
mad.
But like they're
I
big
think we
fans. The
lost
reason
Jose
they went to Dragon
for
Con
there. It is. Okay.
was that.
You kind of cut out there.
Oh
Again,
no, I'm sorry. I don't know. I
So
think it's recording on my end, but like so my friends who mentioned Dragon Con, besides like my wife mentioned it also, they went to like a podcast event for D&D that was at Dragon Con. But it's not at all about just Game of Thrones or D&D or anything like that. That was my initial impression as well, but it's actually like a full on like nerd convention, you know, like it's people in superhero costumes, people in all kinds of things. So I mean, there's a lot of like nerdy little conventions out here. There was like, what the heck was it? There's like a Stranger Things like convention or something like that, like around here recently, like a small one. So like they have stuff like that here all the time. But I don't know if the one thing that I mentioned, if y'all heard, they don't do like announcements and stuff like that at Dragon Con because Comic Con is so much
Yeah.
bigger, right? Like Comic
yeah,
Con is
yeah, yeah. Of
where
course they say
that's why you look forward to it more. You have like big announcements for like properties that are coming out, movies and TV shows.
right.
So that's not something that really happens at Dragon Con. Yeah.
What about over at the Walt House, the House of Walt? Anything cool going on over there that we can kind of like leave this on? Wait, is that a skull in the background? I'm just noticing you got like a red skull.
Yeah.
That's
Why have I
that's,
never noticed that before?
Eli made that.
What is it?
Of course.
It's like a
Paper mache kind of thing?
yeah. It's the Dia de los Muertos.
Oh yeah. Oh, damn, that's cool. Sorry,
Yeah.
guys.
It looks like,
Just
is this like
noticing a
Punisher
random
themed?
skull looking into our camera here. That's really
I'm
cool.
gonna
I like that. Yeah.
I'm gonna use this for the rest of the podcast. I'm just gonna put it on my face.
That'd be a
No.
cool mask. Yeah.
There you go.
So anyway, yeah, like any other tidbits or anything else that we've got going on?
Well, for me, you know how much I'm a huge football fan, right? I live, breathe.
I don't know how, being a Jets fan.
Yeah, well, it's still there.
That's because
It's
we're
still there.
really, really good fans. Okay, we're not just
Exactly.
bandwagon
You know what I'm
fans.
saying? We're not fair weather fans and whatnot.
Yeah.
You know?
We love the crappiest team in New York, basically.
Yeah. I mean, I was there at the game this past weekend where I saw them get messed up by Lamar Jackson in the second half.
Oh, I'm so
At the
sorry
Ravens.
about that. That would be nice. That would be great if you guys were 1-0. So
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
we're
yeah,
getting there.
yeah.
We're
The
getting
Giants
there.
won at the
Listen,
end.
the Giants
heroic
really
fashion.
got lucky. You know what I'm
Whatever.
saying?
I don't
guys-
care.
You
Okay.
guys,
Any
lucked
given
out.
Sunday. Any given Sunday, baby.
All right, let's see how they do this week. So
Hells yeah.
you got Carolina. You got Carolina this week.
Yeah, and who do we
Oh,
got? Carolina?
that might
a
be-
dysfunctional quarterback situation there too.
I don't know. They
got a better
could've-
team,
and
though.
they probably should have won that game against the Browns. So,
Yeah. Anywho, what about football?
well, the reason we're talking about all this football stuff is that I just found out yesterday that there is an officially licensed VR game that's all about the NFL, and that's NFL Pro Era, and it comes out not only for the MetaQuest, but it comes out also for the PlayStation VR, and that is something that I'm super excited about because it puts you
To VR,
in,
right?
huh?
Or did it come out for the original VR? The original PlayStation VR? Because you
Yeah.
have that, right? Oh,
No,
okay.
I have the MetaQuest 2. So it comes out for the
Okay,
MetaQuest
okay.
2 and the original PlayStation VR. So if you have the PlayStation VR right now, you can go out and download this thing. It's about $30. And like I said, the first officially licensed NFL VR game, and it puts you in the role of the quarterback. And so
Mhm.
we're talking about official stadiums, players. It does come with some limited play calling. I'm not going to say it's Madden-esque style, because Madden is very robust in that case.
Well,
But just the fact,
you're not the lead, the real
Mhm.
like Peyton Manning quarterback. You're the one that
But
gets the
just
calls from the booth in this game,
yeah,
right? Because you can audible, I
right,
think.
exactly.
Like,
Well,
mhm.
you're looking down at your wrist and you're calling the plays that way. So um, it's very. Now, listen, it's the first iteration. I think, and the funny thing is, a lot of people are actually mad at the game because they actually don't read what the game's about. But yes, you only play as the quarterback. When you're on defense, you're on the sideline watching. You can skip through it, um, but you'll see the punt and everything and stuff like that. So, but I mean, just the ability to be in VR in the stadium acting as like a quarterback, that for me is just like, okay, I'm there.
Yeah, I would say it's less of a full NFL like simulation and more of just like an experience simulator, right? It's like,
Yeah,
what's it like to be an NFL quarterback? But for that alone, because of how immersive it looks, I got it as well. I haven't had a chance to play it yet. I don't know if you've had a
me
chance
too.
to play
No,
it
not
yet.
yet.
But like, yeah, it looks like it's just generally like this is what it's like to be in the shoes of like your favorite NFL quarterback. Zach Wilson could be your favorite NFL quarterback if you're a psycho like we are. But
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
you know, like whatever it is, it like I got it immediately also because I didn't know it was coming out today. You told me that it was coming out. I
Yeah,
was gonna
like
get some other VR game.
I actually didn't know that it even exists. I'm like, how did I not know about this? And
Yep.
so once I heard that it's actually out, I was like, oh, sorry, I'm not even looking at the reviews. I'm just getting it. And actually, it's pretty well reviewed as it is anyway. So
Yeah, like if you look at the reviews, it's mostly people like you said who didn't realize that it was not a full-fledged NFL game where you play defense and run and catch. Those are the people that are upset. Anybody that
right,
like knows that it's just like an experience simulator basically is like 5 stars, or 4 stars because they also like apparently the other big weakness is like passing is a little too easy. But
yeah,
again, it's more like a simulation of the experience than like I'm gonna learn how to be a freaking full-fledged NFL quarterback. These it's kind of hard to pull that off in these VR games with the
yeah.
tech
And
that exists. I
I
think.
like the fact that it's not just that because you can do skills competition.
Right.
You can actually play a full season, and you can
Yeah.
actually play multiplayer as well. So there are. It's not just like one of these experiences where you do only one thing and then after that it's like, okay, now I'm bored. What else? There are multiple things that you can do in the game. So
Yeah.
you know,
It has a few solid game modes, which is good.
yep.
There's
So
only
that
one other game that's like on VR that's about as well received, but it's not fully licensed like this is. 2MD VR football apparently is like the other one that's really good.
yeah, I heard about that. I don't know too much about that one though. So
Well, that one's more of a full football game as well, but like the graphics are garbage compared to this because the graphics in this game are like
Oh,
really really high quality. You know what I mean?
yes,
In
they
the
are.
VR football game, like that's
Hmm.
another reason why it's more of an experience simulator. This 2MD VR football game is like it's like that basketball game I told you about. It's like
It's
blocky
like really
looking, like
blocking.
yeah, like Roblox looking characters. So like it's fun, but it takes away from like the full experience.
Yeah,
Which is why I can't wait to try this one out. But I'll probably try that 2MD football out as well. It's like $11 on the
yeah.
Quest, so
I mean, it's
we'll see.
it's nothing in comparison to some of these AAA games where now you have to spend like $70-$80 just to get. It's not you're not even getting like the limited. You're just getting the regular game. So you know.
Right. Yep.
Um,
Yep.
All right.
But we got to try that out this week, I think.
Yep.
I have some
Definitely.
free time, so you let me know.
Definitely.
All right. I guess we can leave it off there. Ladies and germs, welcome. Thanks everyone for joining us for another episode of the Get Geek podcast. It's been a while, so we're glad y'all were to enjoy us for a little potluck, just a little simple conversation about what we've been checking out lately. So thanks to all the fans out there. It's been a while. I'm feeling a little bit out of practice, but I was happy to join you all today. And from the Get Geek crew, as always, y'all know there's just about nothing left to say at this point in the conversation, but stay geeky, my friend.